Good day everyone, and I am Sikil Tuyak, a Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering, and I was assigned to tackle about 1986 Freedom Constitution. The 1986 Freedom Constitution promulgated by Presidential Proclamation on March 15, 1986. The Philippine Constitutional Commission of 1986 was the Constitutional Convention tasked with drafting the present iteration of the Constitution of the Philippines in 1986. It was approved by the 1986 Constitutional Commission on October 12, 1986. The 1987 Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines was presented to the President Corazon C. Aquino on October 15, 1986, and it was ratified on February 2, 1987 by a plebiscite. It was proclaimed in force on February 11, 1987. And also, the Philippine Constitutional Commission on 1986 is all about declaring a national policy to implement the reforms mandated by the people, protecting their basic rights, adopting a provisional constitution, and providing for an orderly transition to a government under a new constitution. And now, let us talk about Malacanang, Manila by the Presidential of the Philippines Proclamation number 3. So, what did Corazon Aquino implemented during that year? Corazon Aquino said, whereas the new government was installed through a direct exercise of the power of the Filipino people assisted by units of the new armed forces of the Philippines. Whereas the heroic action of the people was done in defiance of the provisions of the 1973 Constitution as amended. Whereas the direct mandate of the people as manifested by their extraordinary action demands the complete reorganization of the government, restoration of democracy, protection of basic rights, rebuilding of confidence in the entire governmental system, eradication of graft and corruption, restoration of peace and order, maintenance of the supremacy of civilian authority over the military, and the transition to a government under a new constitution in the shortest time possible. Whereas, during the period of transition to a new constitution, it must be guaranteed that the government will respect basic human rights and fundamental freedoms. And last one, wherefore, I, Corazon C. Aquino, President of the Philippines, by virtue the powers vested in me by sovereign mandate of the people, do hereby promulgate the following Provisional Constitution. And yes, there are 7 constitutions that was Corazon Aquino implemented during that year. Article 1, adoption of certain provisions of the 1973 Constitution as amended. There are 3 sections in this article. Section 1, the provisions of Article 1, national territory. Article 3, citizenship. Article 4, Bill of Rights. Article 5, duties of obligations of citizens, and Article 6, suffrage of the 1973 Constitution as amended remain in force and effect and are hereby adopted as part of this provisional constitution. Section 2, the provisions of Article 2, declaration of principles and state policies. Article 7, the President. Article 10, the Judiciary. Article 11, local government. Article 12, the Constitutional Commissions. Article 13, accountability of public officers. Article 14, national economy and patrimony of the nation. Article 15, General Provisions of the 1973 Constitution, as amended, are hereby adopted as part of this provisional constitution insofar as they are not consistent with the provisions of this proclamation. Section 3, Articles 8, Batasang Pambansa, Article 9, the Prime Minister and the Cabinet, Article 16, Amendments, Article 17, Transitory Provisions, and all amendments thereto are deemed superseded by this proclamation. Article 2, the President, the Vice President, and the Cabinet. So, there are 6 sections in this article. Section 1, until a legislator as elected and convened under a new constitution, the President shall continue to exercise legislative power. The President shall give priority to measure to achieve mandate of the people. So, completely reorganize government and eradicate unjust and oppressive structures and all iniquitous vestige of the previous regime. B. Make effective and guarantees of civil, political, human, social, economic, and cultural rights and freedom of the Filipino people and provide remedies against violations thereof. C. Rehabilitate the economy and promote nationalist aspirations of the people. D. Recover ill-gotten properties amassed by the leaders and supporters of the previous regime and protect the interest of the people through orders of sequestration or freezing of assets of accounts. E. Eradicate graft and corruption in government and punish those guilty thereof, and restore peace and order, settle the problem of insurgency, and pursue national reconciliation based on justice. Section 2. The President shall be assisted by Cabinet, which shall be composed of ministers with or without portfolio, who shall be appointed by the President. They shall be accountable to and hold office of the pleasure of the President. Section 3. The President should have control of and exercise general supervisions over all local governments. Section 4. In case of permanent vacancy arising from death, incapacity, or resignation of the President, the Vice President shall become President. In case of death, permanent incapacity, or resignation of the Vice President, the Cabinet shall choose from among themselves the minister with portfolio, who shall act as President. Section 5. The Vice President may appointed member of the Cabinet and may perform such other functions as may be assigned to him by the President. Section 6. The President, the Vice President, and the members of the Cabinet shall be subject to the disabilities provided for in Section 8, Article 7, and in Section 6, Article 7, Article 9, respectively, of the 1973 Constitution as amended. Article 3, Government Reorganization. There are 4 sections in Article 3. Section 1. In the reorganization of the government, priority shall be given to measures to promote economy, efficiency, and the eradication to graft and corruption. Section 2. All elected and appointed officials and employees under 1973 Constitution shall continue in office until otherwise provided by proclamation or executive order or upon the designation or appointment and qualification of their successors with, if such made within a period of 1 year from February 25, 1986. See Executive Order number 17 to amend this Section 2. Section 3. Any public officer or employee separated from the service as the result of the reorganization affected under this proclamation shall, if entitled under the laws then enforced, receive the retirement and other benefits accruing thereunder. Section 4. The records, equipment, buildings, facilities, and other properties of all government offices shall be carefully preserved in case any office or body is abolished or reorganized pursuant to this proclamation. Its funds and properties shall be transferred to the office or body to which its powers, functions, and abilities substantially pertain. Article 4. Existing laws, treaties, and contracts. There are two sections in this article. Section 1. All existing laws, decrees, executive orders, proclamation, letters of instruction, implementing rules and regulations, and other executive issuances not inconsistent with this proclamation shall remain operative until amended, modified, or repealed by the President of or regular legislative body to be established under a new constitution. Section 2. The President may review all contracts, concessions, permits, or other forms of privilege for exploration, development, exploitation, or utilization of natural resources entered into, granted, issued, or acquired before the date of this proclamation, and when the national interest requires, amend, modify, or revoke them. Article 5. Adoption of new constitution. So there are 5 sections in this article. Section 1. Within 60 days from date of this proclamation, all commissions shall be appointed by the President to draft a new constitution. The commission shall be composed of not less than 30 nor more than 50 natural-born citizens of the Philippines of recognized probity, known for their independence, nationalism, and patriotism. They shall be chosen by the President after consultation with various sectors of society. Section 2. The Commission shall complete its work within a short period as may be consistent with the need both to hasten the return of normal constitutional government, to draft a document truly reflective of the ideals and aspirations of the Filipino people. Section 3. All the Commission shall conduct public hearings to ensure that the people will have adequate participation in the formulation of the new constitution. The Section 4. The plenary sessions of the Commission shall be public and fully recorded. Section 5. All the new constitution shall be presented by the Commission to the President, who shall fix the date for the holding of a plebiscite. It shall become valid and effective upon ratification by majority of the votes cast in such plebiscite, which shall be held within a period of 60 days following its submission to the President. Article 6. Holding of elections. There are 2 sections in this article. Section 1. National elections shall be held as may be provided by the new constitution. Section 2. Local elections shall be held on a date to be determined by the President, which shall not be earlier than the date of the plebiscite for the ratification of the new constitution. Article 7. Effective date. Section 1. This proclamation shall take effect upon its promulgation by the President. Section 2. Pursuant to the letter of and spirit of this proclamation, consolidated official text of the Provisional Constitution shall be promulgated by the President and published in English and Filipino in the official gazette and in newspapers of general circulation to ensure widespread dissemination. So, so this was done in the city of Manila, 25 day of March and the year of our Lord 1906. So that would be all for my report. That is all about 1986 Freedom Constitution. That would be all. Thank you.